welcome back to the Play Action Podcast for episode 2 on sports marketing. Today, we are super excited to have our esteemed guest, Kelly Miller, on the pod. And we're also going to be having a roundtable about the roles of relationship marketing, practical career implications, and the field in general. I'm Mallory Sickles.
Hi, I'm Annie West.
I'm Avery Wimberly.
And I'm Chase Byrd.
And I'm Nina Thompson.
Awesome. So, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Kelly is a senior here at Clemson. She is a marketing major and she is a marketing lead intern with our sports marketing department. And she also works in ticketing on the side. She's a very accomplished girl here at Clemson. So thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll get right into the first question, which will be coming from Annie.
Okay, perfect. First, thanks so much, Kelly, for coming. We're really excited to hear about what you do on campus. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Do you mind sharing kind of a little bit about your position with the marketing department and then kind of some of your everyday responsibility within your role?
Sure. So like Mallory said, I am a marketing and fan experience intern, and luckily I was promoted to be a lead intern now. I look a little bit different because I'm really only a lead intern in the spring. But leads are kind of special because they have a lot more of the behind the scenes work. So that requires office hours where we are writing scripts and we're doing a lot more of the deep planning, whereas a regular intern, which I have been for the past 2 years, would be the people that are showing up to the games and actually like executing all of the behind the scenes planning. So it's really cool that I've been able to kind of be on both sides of the thing now. And I really like being behind the scenes and writing the scripts and then being able to see it executed on game day.
Can you kind of talk about the transition of being like kind of from where you started and then where you are now being the lead?
Yeah, sure. So I started in my internship my freshman year in the spring semester. And then I was an intern then, and then the following fall semester, sophomore year. And then last year I was technically an associate lead intern, which was something that our internship did completely different. And then I was asked to come back, obviously, and to move into that lead position now. And as my senior year, I'm actually a senior, but I've only been here for 3 years, be 3 and done. But I feel like our department does a really good job at transitioning people into that role, especially with the associate lead position last year, instead of just kind of throwing me into it. And we also have really good and like knowledgeable GAs in our office who are so willing to help. And also I would say that our full-time staff too is also super knowledgeable and always willing to help, and they want to see us succeed. So they give us a lot of requirements and a lot of responsibility because they believe in us.
Okay. So you kind of said with your everyday roles, are there certain weeks or months that you're busier than others?
Yeah, so and I'm sure Mallory could also speak to this, but we have this crazy thing called crossover season, which is basically when it's going from the winter to the spring sports or going from the fall to the winter sports is kind of when it's not just one specific season. There is every sport it seems like it's playing on campus, and so that those are definitely our busier months. But again, when I do tennis, so for example, I'm going to be the lead intern for men's and women's tennis coming up here in the spring, and I know that they cross over a little bit definitely into that crossover season. So there's going to be games, 3-4 times a week, and us as a whole intern group, we're going to be very, very busy coming up in this spring.
So if you have things every night, how do you balance kind of all of your responsibilities if it's something 7 days a week?
Yeah, so definitely coming into college, that is time management and like balance amongst a lot of different things was something that I definitely had to learn. And, it wasn't pretty at first, but you're kind of forced to learn it because you kind of just have to make it work. But like I said, also our full-time staff, they do a great job. They know we're college students at the end of the day. They know we have 21st birthdays. Like they're really great. And I feel like I said, like we have meetings like almost every week nowadays, but like we have one tomorrow night and I'm busy and like no questions asked or like, okay, great, we'll see you next. So I feel like we're lucky enough to work in in a department where they're super understanding of where we are now. As college students, we're also involved in so many other things that it really is all about balance.
Okay, gotcha. So what do you say is one of the biggest challenges that you faced within your role so far?
Yeah, so I feel like that's tricky because especially with when you're working a sporting event where not everything is going the right way when it comes to being on the field, you don't always get the happiest of fans, or you have, those diehard fans. Like I know, for example, Clemson baseball fans are diehard fans and they've been season ticket holders for a very long time. So when something isn't going the same way as it has been, the past 20, 30 years, like they can get upset. And I remember one time I was working a baseball game and we were passing out balloons, and I just know, those season tickets holder wanted nothing to do with the balloons. And I get that. Fun though, but like you really just got to understand your audience. And like I understand now that, like the 87-year-old men who just sit behind home plate, they don't want the balloons. I got to focus more on the college students and like the young parents and families that are behind them. So I feel like I've learned to like know who my audience is. So I feel like that was a challenge at first.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Kelly. I got a question for you. What role does interactivity play in your overall fan engagement strategy?
Yeah, so I feel like we are always interacting with the crowd and with the students. I mean, that's basically like when you go to a basketball game and there's a halftime show or a timeout and there's a game being played or there's something going on the video board, we are always interacting with the crowd. We're there to get the crowd interacted, not just during when the game is being played. So I feel like whether it's picking a contestant or drawing up a new game to play. I'm sure you've seen some of the games that we've played at different sporting events. Whether it's something going on the video board where it's like, what year is it or stuff, like all of that stuff gets planned behind the scenes in the office. So we are definitely very interconnected with the audience.
Do you play a role in like creating any of those games, or do you have a favorite one personally?
So it's really funny that you bring that up because last year in the office, when Clemson basketball was playing Duke, I don't know if anybody was there. And we knew there was going to be a huge line. And so I don't even know if it ended up it ended up being used, but like our full-time boss was like, we need a Kahoot. Like we're going to play Kahoot for all those students that are, they're going to wait in line all day and then they're going to go into the basketball game. And then they're going to sit there for another, 2 hours before tip off. And so he's like, somebody make a Kahoot. So I ended up making a Kahoot, which was really fun. I don't even know if it was ended up using, but it was like kind of those things. Yeah, we do play into it a little bit. I had made like the emoji games before, which are really fun when you like put two different emojis together. It's like, what Christmas movie is it or whatever. So like, yeah, we definitely get to be involved in like some of those things. I haven't personally made any of the what year is it or stuff like that, but definitely those things that go on with those video boards and like we do like Jeopardy or sometimes like stuff like that. We're definitely all helping create those behind the scenes.
I was definitely there for the line. I don't remember the Kahoot, but I do remember
It's okay. I don't
Brownell
even know
coming
if I
out.
used it, but
I do remember Coach Brownell coming out, and that was fun, and that got the people hyped up. I think he brought
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
yes.
yeah, that was super awesome, and that was like getting everybody very interactive and ready for the game. So that was a neat touch. Yeah, did you say you had a favorite one?
I love the emoji ones because I feel like they seem like so simple, but then like you really got to think about it. And like, trying to come up with ones that like you never would have thought of before, I feel like can get a little tricky. But I feel like the emojis, like, and we always pick a contestant and you have to like guess what it is. I think we did ice cream flavors the other day at volleyball. So that's always really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you like look for one that's kind of all encompassing of ages, or do you like target a specific audience, or what do you look for there?
Yeah, so I feel like it definitely depends on the game. So for example, again with volleyball, because I just know that's in season right now, like a lot of our games have to do with like, serving something over the net or like rolling a ball all the way across the court. So like those types of games, like we're definitely aiming for like, college age kids that are like competent enough to like serve a ball over the net, like a 7-year-old kid's not going to be able to do that. Again, it's all about knowing your audience. But like at basketball or women's basketball, for example, we'll do like dress like a cub or whatever, and they like have to put on the big shoes and the big jersey and the big shorts and then run down and make a layup. Like that's more geared towards like, okay, I can pick 2 little kids to go and play that game. So I feel like it's all about knowing the type of game and like who would be good at what, and also what everybody else watching would want to see.
Do you think how big of a difference do you think that makes for sporting events for the thing?
Yeah. I feel like it really depends on who's there. So like a women's basketball game on like a Friday night might have more fans than a volleyball game that's on a Tuesday night, especially, and it all depends on like ACC matchups and how is the volleyball team doing, how is the women's basketball team doing. So like these are all little things that like you as a fan might not be thinking about, but like in the marketing office every single day, you know, when Clemson volleyball started off their season 12-0, like that was fantastic. And like you might not think about that, but then you're like, oh, like attendance is going to increase, all of it. And this also like ties into ticket sales and stuff like that too. So it's kind of fun that I get to work on both sides of things. But if it's women's basketball, and I know they're on the rise right now, but I remember my freshman year, like, I don't think I went to a single women's basketball game, but I went to a few last year because, you know, they're doing better marketing wise and they've got their new coach who's absolutely phenomenal. So like, I feel like there are so many different puzzle pieces that really, you know, make the whole picture.
Cool. Great. Thank you. I'm gonna go see what kind of emojis I can put together now and make some games.
Good idea. Good idea.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Hey Kelly, I just want to say thank you again for coming on here. I'm kind of just like going back off what they were saying, because you said you market specifically tennis.
Yes, I'm a lead intern for tennis, so I do a lot of the behind the scene things for tennis.
Okay, got you. And so like I know like I guess like some like different sports, you know, tennis isn't as big as like football and basketball. And so like I guess just like my question is like, how did you like market, I guess, that sport that didn't draw like that, it doesn't have much of a crowd, and like how do you go about that, trying to draw like marketing to, I guess, certain sports that have smaller crowds than others?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And, you know, honestly, like it is a challenge. Like you're not going to get the 80,000 people at the Clemson football game versus, you know, a women's tennis match on a Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. Like the crowd and the atmosphere are completely different. But, you know, at the end of the day, I went into the position and I knew that women's tennis still has a budget, just like how football has a budget. Yeah, a margin is very, very different. But at the end of the day, they still have money that's donated to them that needs to be spent marketing wise. So it does take a little bit. I feel like you're taking a little budget and you're trying to stretch it across the whole season. So I feel like that itself just takes some skill. But it is a lot harder. Last year though, we really honed in on doing like first honorary serves before every single match. That definitely brought in some of a bigger crowd. I know we did like a band appreciation night, and with some of our budget, we like bought like I feel like a million different pizzas for the band, and like you know we had half the band in the audience. So like, would you ever think that the band would show up to a women's tennis match? I didn't until, you know, we marketed it and I reached out to the band director, and then we even had like one of the band seniors do that first serve. So he got to go out there, you know, say we got to like do a little PA read about him, congratulate him for like being entire band for 4 years. And then he got to do that first serve, and then both the teams get to clap for him. So it's a cute little like ceremony too. So we really honed in on those like first serves last year, which I think the coaches really appreciated. So I'm hoping to, you know, follow up with that this upcoming spring as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear, just because I know like I guess being able to, you know, do different type of things when you have to deal with that is really cool. And that kind of leads me to my second question, like going on what you said, like how do you measure like the success of your marketing efforts?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely, like, I'm not out there playing tennis, but like I know our women's tennis team and our men's tennis team both had like great years last year. And not to toot my own horn, but I feel like, you know, the marketing and the crowd and like everything, all those home atmospheres, like that does play into it a little bit. And I know the coaches last year, I actually got to become like pretty like personable, like friends with them, especially like the director of operations. And I know they really appreciated me and I've built that relationship with them. And so like they appreciate me, I appreciate them, and just all around when you're more appreciative of like people that are doing like behind the scenes things, and it's like it's the little things. Like I like let the girls make their own like Spotify playlist before the game, so it's like you get to play that, and then you know like they're playing their favorite hype songs versus like a random Spotify jam that you might just look up. So I feel like it definitely is like the little things all add up to build that like good relationships, and I feel like it's even better this year because I'm going back a second year. So like that relationship is just going to keep getting stronger and stronger.
Definitely. That's awesome to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, so my question is, how do you think the use of brand ambassadors in sports marketing is important? How are you like strategic about it? And I don't know, like, have you worked with any brand ambassadors directly, especially in tennis, or are you seeing people get these promotions?
I feel like, I mean, NIL nowadays is a huge thing. I know like specifically some of the girls do have like NIL deals. I haven't seen it specifically like brought into like the marketing aspect because I know they have their whole like legal issue side of thing themselves, but I feel like also like when they become a bigger presence on social media, that could also be really good for, attracting attracting attendance, like I know Anna Fry is a huge thing at Chapel Hill. I know like there's going to be 1 million people at her tennis matches this year in the spring. So it's like when you have that digital presence, it definitely is like a positive to your team, but it also could be a negative. So I don't know. It's all about balance again.
So kind of going off of that, working just like so you were saying like you're doing a bunch of digital marketing, right? But do you prefer to work digitally or kind of face to face? Like, what do you think the most important differences in that, and like what are some of your favorite aspects of each?
Yeah, I feel that's a good question. I feel like in today's day and age, you kind of have to like the digital marketing because you really have no choice with how big technology is nowadays and social media. But like I feel like the face-to-face things, like, you can't beat it, and, like, last year, one of the days, we took the girls' tennis team out, and we handed out, like, 20, maybe it was more than that, it might have been 50, honestly, like, Cane's combo boxes just one day on course campus, and, like, you get that, like, face-to-face interactions where we were like, yeah, we were handing out canes, but we were also handing out, like, a little flyer about our upcoming match, so it's, like, that kinda like, you can post on social media, "Hey, come to our match this weekend," but, like, it's like, oh, the girls' tennis team fed me lunch the other day. Maybe I should go support them. And they beat South Carolina, who's a huge rivalry, who's ranked at home. Like all that kind of stuff, it like builds upon each other. So I feel like you definitely have to have a good balance of both of the things. I know our department does a really good job at like pushing out the digital marketing aspects on like our main marketing Instagram. And I know the Clemson women's tennis marketing also, or like their social media page also does a great job at like I know they posted a video today about their upcoming fall classic that they're having, which I have nothing to do with, but they do a great job too. I'm not super involved with like the social media aspect of it. It's just not my forte, which I'm totally okay with. But like I said, I do think there needs to be a good balance because I feel like if you go completely digital, you lose really that personal aspect, like handing out free lunch on campus on a random Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, no, that's so fun.
Hey Kelly, so my question is, how does a team performing better or worse kind of affect your roles and your position? I know this is like something that at Clemson can be dealt with a lot, like just depending on the season. So like, how does that kind of change your day to day?
Yeah, I feel like the obvious, like, if a team isn't performing well, there's not going to be people at the games. There's not going to be people to simply choose from to play your, promotional games. So I feel like, excuse me, that's like the obvious answer. But also like if your team's losing and they're still showing up in the stands, say they have season tickets, whatever it may be, they feel an obligation to go. Like, you have angry people that's gonna really like be a domino effect into like everything else that you're doing. I mean, I'm sure you see all over ESPN with all these like football teams like being upset and there's just like they just continue to pan over to students who are just in complete distress and they're like frowning and like that's never like a reputation that Clemson has. With like, like being panned over to like upset students, I feel like as much, even though I'm in the stands, I guess I wouldn't really know. But I feel like it definitely does have an effect because it hasn't happened to me just yet, but like it could be if, say, our basketball team starts off 0-5 and I go up to a kid and ask him to do a halftime show and what if he's like, I don't want to be seen on the Clemson basketball court right now. Like this is embarrassing. Like I feel like there definitely could be that ripple effect, which luckily I haven't I haven't had to deal with just yet.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And that's so true. And I guess like we have gotten pretty lucky with a lot of the sports these past years, but that's so true is like the fans' attitudes can totally be dependent on that. One last thing I do want to throw at you is do you have like a team that you grew up really like as a household team for you, like one that really made you think about the possibility of sports marketing that like really kind of influenced how you viewed sports?
Yeah, so like, okay, so I'm from Buffalo, New York. So I'm a diehard Bills fan. My dad's been season ticket holders for I don't even know how long. I think he's been going since he was like 12 years old, and he's going on 40 years with season tickets, the same seats and everything. Sports marketing was never really like a thought to me, like, oh, like who's shutting off the lights, who's playing the video board, like who's announcing the teacher that's being announced right now at halftime. Like none of those things really clicked to me until I got into Clemson and I found this internship and I was like, wow, like, it isn't just a click of a button. There are, hundreds of little minions running around the field that aren't the football players, that aren't the coaches, that aren't the trainers, that are doing everything else. So, I did go back to a football game last year when I went home for Christmas break, and, it really opened your eyes. You're like, wow, like somebody's pressing for those fireworks to go off. Somebody's pressing for the lights to chase around the stadium, which those are never things that you think of until you're in an internship like the one that I'm in.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you again for joining us. This has been so insightful, and we really appreciate all the valuable stuff that you've said. So yeah, just thank you so much for your time tonight.
You're welcome anytime.
Thanks so much, Kelly. This was awesome.
You're welcome, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. I
Thanks,
just
Greg.
got
Great
a
question.
notification that the Bills just signed a punter to their team to replace their injured
Wow.
back as soon as you said that. So
Congrats, Kelly. All right. That was really awesome. Just so much appreciation for her, so much insight. Yeah, we'll kind of just segue right into roundtable now. So Annie, are you good to start off with that again?
Yeah, I kind of want to actually touch on something that Kelly talked about, where she was talking about like the balloons with the baseball fans and like the kids go crazy, but like kind of the long-term fans were like not having it. I just think that's so interesting because like it's such a hard balance with people that are so traditional and like want everything to like stay the same with their team and like I mean kind of what she said. I mean they sit in the same seats every time.
Yeah.
But now as a sports marketer working in the industry, you're having to be so adaptable. And Mallory, you might could touch on this like I don't even know how you would like navigate the balance of
Yeah.
like satisfying everybody. I just kind of also want to hear y'all's thoughts on that because that's something that did not cross my mind ever. And I've like been at the games where they have the balloons and I thought it was great, but I guess there's like so many opinions all the time. Yeah.
I feel like there are just like those people always that are gonna be kind of like I don't know, that's new and I've been around and I'm a season ticket holder and I've been watching them since I was, 20 and they are kind of just resistant to change in general. But I feel like it's not usually like it's not always a bad thing because like we have so at baseball, like there's Danny Cannon who like sings the seventh inning stretch.
Yeah.
Take me out to the ball game, and he sits in his very specific chair in his very specific spot with his very specific snack, and he has a cup holder in the same spot. And like that's the kind of tradition that I see, and I'm like I'm really glad that that's never changed, and I really embrace that he's very traditional in that way. But you definitely do have to read the room, I feel like at every sport with the people that seem like they would be open to those more like fun, silly type things, and then the people that you maybe just want to leave alone to really lock in on the game. Because I feel like everyone can be there for different reasons for sure. Like when I go, I'm there for kind of both. Like I'm really invested in the sport that I'm watching, but I also like want to be there socially. But there's some people that kind of fall one side of that spectrum.
Yeah. I feel like the goal, I feel like with sports marketing is like you're trying so hard to develop that relationship, but then your fans are also for each team constantly like will have different needs each game depending on like I guess if they're losing or they're winning or like how long their winning streak is too. So I just thought that was interesting that she said how like some people aren't happy with
Absolutely.
some of the like new marketing tactics that people are having to use to like keep people engaged and excited.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
during the break, I made an emoji game. If anyone can guess.
Wait, pull it back a little bit. Yeah.
He's trying to blur it out.
Is that Lion King?
Bang,
Heck yeah.
bang. I also hope you like my tennis racket. I don't think she noticed though, but
I
whatever.
noticed. I think she did notice. She just was
Hopefully,
locked in.
maybe she'll let me serve the next game or something. I don't know.
Oh, you should
Uh,
ask her. She definitely will.
We
I
can
should
actually
have.
definitely make that happen. Avery's dreams coming true.
I missed that opportunity, but all right. So what I want to talk about for Roundtable is like sports marketing careers and just the uniqueness of them. and kind of to specify like the core service provided as being like either the fandom or the game day experience instead of like a product. Just kind of talk about what that looks like. So like the fandom as a core like value of the game day experience and kind of just like intertwine it all together. Um, so sports marketers are really looking for like ways to bring those fans back. And like what they remember is not being sold a tangible item, but being sold an experience. And so like when they leave, they're going to talk about not the popcorn, maybe not the popcorn that they had, but what happened on the field and what happened around them and like the atmosphere that they were able to be a part of. And so just kind of to talk about what Kelly talked about earlier is that she's really big into integrating games and getting fan interaction and like pulling them out of the stands. Because I know me growing up, like if I had the opportunity to be on the field, I wanted to do it. That'd be like almost like a dream come true. So I guess my question to y'all is, what is it that you're looking for when you go to a game, and what when you walk away, what's like what's going to bring you back? Anybody?
I feel like community is huge and just feeling like welcome and knowing kind of like the experience that you're gonna always get when you go to a game, especially like if that is like your favorite team and like it can be reliable, you can enjoy yourself, and you can watch the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Like, I feel like for me, it's kind of there's a couple different situations where like one situation kind of goes for like a team that I'm a diehard fan for, and there's really only a couple of those where it's like I would probably go if I had the chance no matter what kind of thing. But then I feel like for a lot of sports and a lot of teams, like I hate to say it, but them being good and like the experience of winning like would motivate me to go more because there's really only a few teams, like I said, that I really would identify with and be like, no, I'm gonna stick with this team no matter what. Versus like sports where I like am less passionate about it, I would probably just base it off how well they're doing. I feel like that is a factor. But like with marketing, like Kelly was talking about, you kind of just have to adapt either way because you really do, at the end of the day, you want people there.
My turn. Maybe you done. Avery.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
done.
go ahead, Chase.
I thought I didn't know if you was gonna close it out or not. My bad. I guess what I wanted to kind of touch on was like, she was talking about how like, everybody is in a different department and just how like I was talking with her about how like different sports don't have as big as a crowd, but I was just wanting to touch on like how social media has like changed like the sports marketing job. I feel like in today's like world, like before, like I guess all these different platforms came out, like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all that. Like everything was planned out like so far in advance, and you were able to like know what you were going to say. But like now with like real time, like I feel like you can engage, everybody can engage in real time, like during games and like have breaking news and everything. So I feel like that has like I feel like is maybe giving more opportunity to sports marketers to like show more of themselves and put more into what they're doing, because I feel like there's just so many different ways to like talk about the game, and it's just not one thing that's set. So I feel like that's something that I feel like has like changed the sports marketing job. And I was just going to ask y'all, like, is there anything else y'all have seen or noticed that y'all feel like has like changed in like a sports marketer's job?
I actually, I think something I have noticed is like a lot of the things that like I guess Kelly, for example, like they're doing in the game, like when they're recognizing fans, a lot of those things that they're doing are being recapped and then posted on social media. So I feel like that definitely is something that I feel like is kind of newer. I feel like you can piece together every single thing that happened of every sporting event because it's like clips of the actual sporting event and then clips of like kind of the entertainment aspect of like people being brought on the field for a game or like recognized. And then it's all posted like for Clemson on like Clemson sports or like the specific sports team. So it like matters what they do for the entertainment aspect because then it's getting posted and people are going to watch it over and over again. It's not just real time.
Definitely.
No, I totally agree with that. And like in game, that's so true. Like everything in game can then be put on social media so easily. But I also feel like what Kelly does, I know that it's a lot of pregame, like we get a lot of, especially like students here to games, like she gets them to tennis because of the stuff that they're posting and other parts of the department before the game, like, oh, giveaway today, free pizza today, burger truck today. Like tennis does stuff like that all the time. And students simply like wouldn't know about that if we didn't have social media as an aspect here. Like
Yeah.
you don't see flyers around that tell you these things. You don't like see people on corners anymore, like tabling as much about these things. It's all social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have my ringer on if they were posting about free canes for the tennis team.
I
Like
was gonna say,
you better
I
believe
wish that
it.
I was in
Yeah.
the
Guys, you
quad
gotta
when
hang
that
out
was
around core,
happening.
guys. Have you ever seen like they're always around there? And like Coach Poppy was just with the basketball team out there and they're heading out. Like I got a free Starbucks the other day. You gotta hang out around core.
I hang out around core.
All right. Well, thank you.
Kind of like building off of that, thinking about the use of brand ambassadors in sports marketing at like more so like a larger scale, thinking about the organization, not an individual athlete, but it could go for both. But how do you think that specific media channels and like promotions as well as marketing on social media through like business to business and then business to consumer relationships, like how do you think social media allows for those platforms to be utilized? And like sorry, that was kind of confusing, but how do you think like a company could best use their marketing with a product to attract like a new audience?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean with that. Like I feel like especially for us as students, like have you guys ever been at a game where it's like, oh, if this happens, free Bowberry biscuit, or like if this happens, free Whataburger fries. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's like one of the ones I think of because it really links like sports and sports marketing, but also like they bring their business into it when you probably could have never thought about how Bojangles it could be related to like Clemson football, but then you see it and you're like, oh wait, this makes so much sense. Now I want a Bowberry biscuit. Like I see that and I get excited, okay? And like that's okay. But I feel like that is like one way people can do it is like work it into the sport, which I think is always cool, but there's like
Mhm.
so many other ways too.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely businesses are able to utilize teams, especially like around here, just because I feel like it's a smaller town. So like Bojangles is like I feel like a big brand around here when it comes to sports because it's like every sporting event has something to do with Bojangles. Or like some teams, I think there's like one of the teams is like something with like the be in this row and you get like a great clips
Oh
haircut
yeah,
and it's
baseball
like
loves to do
yeah,
that.
yes, it's like all it's like if this happens and then this brand will do this and it's like everything that's benefiting the people that are there, so it's definitely brands. It's like it feels like it's benefiting the team, the fans, and the business for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Even though
especially
somebody may not like win the thing, they still at least hear about it. So
Exactly.
that's important.
they're going to tell their friends and then their friends are going to want to go to games.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What I kind of want to touch on, which we can all definitely kind of speak to, I think, is like why people choose fandom for certain teams. And like this is important, I feel like, to sports marketing because knowing your consumers and what motivates them can help you like tap into those networks and those audiences. So like there's a bunch of different reasons like people to like do like watch a team just kind of escape reality for like boosting their self-esteem for feeling like a part of something for like a celebrity that likes them like the whole Taylor Swift situation. But for me like my personal answer would be like my family kind of motivated that. Like for I've been a Mets fan since I was born because like that's what my dad liked and like that's just what you do. But yeah, okay, I'm getting judged, it's fine. um but I also feel like Bartolo Colon, like I don't know, I just really liked him as a kid. Like he looked really like warm and fuzzy and happy all the time. Like I don't know. So like what are your guys' reasons that you think like sports marketers would clock you for and kind of like use to hook you?
I think like participation also kind of plays like a role in that. Like the first sport I played was like ice hockey. So growing up, that was like kind of what I was attracted to. And then I have two older brothers and they both played sports and I just kind of followed, yeah, like what they liked and what my parents liked. And I honestly still have.
But I do think just like that connection of playing a sport, you kind of can also find like your own route and like your own player, not your own players, but like players that you like follow and teams that you follow.
Yeah, I agree with the sport thing. I played baseball growing up my whole life, so go Braves, Mallory. Bartolo Colon is an exception, but I guess parents definitely, and the sport you play, but also like player to fan interaction. I felt like the Braves, the kind of era I grew up in was like the Chipper Jones era, and he was super relatable to me, and that's what drew me to him because he was big into the outdoors. He lived in the Southeast, so he knew a lot about like where I grew up and stuff like that. And like he was just kind of personable. So even if I wasn't like instilled to be a Braves fan from my parents, he would still be someone that like draw me to the team. And I think sports marketers can kind of piggyback off of that and just like take personality types and try and like connect with the fans and the players that they like the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah, I think a lot of it, oh, sorry.
no, go
This is
for
my
it.
last thing. I feel like a lot of it has so much to do what people do off the field that they can kind of draw people in. I think a lot of times, like when players are like volunteering or visiting hospitals, it just like kind of pulls out the heartstrings. So if you didn't have a fan, or like if you weren't a fan of them, like now you might be. And it
Yeah.
may not have anything to do with like their record or like how good they are or anything like that. It's just like maybe they have good people on their team, so I'm going to cheer for them.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's been awesome. It was a great time speaking with Kelly today. I'm really glad we got to do that. And I feel like we really touched on a lot of different motivations and aspects of sports marketing. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight at the Play Action Podcast. We're super excited about our second episode and definitely stay tuned for that third. So thank you again, everyone, for joining.
We'll see you.
Thanks.
Bye.